Hey everyone, welcome to Watchers Week. It's a nerdy podcast for nerdy people because that's who we are and that's who we care about. This week is Thor Ragnarok, the 2017 movie, the last of the trilogy for Thor until otherwise later down the line, unheard of, but probably the last. My name is Steven. I'm here with my other watchers. We'll get to them in a second, but I first want to talk about how how good this movie is. I always say whenever I talk about this movie, what do I say, Tim? I always say that it starts with a B.
Trash.
What? No, that were you just waiting to call this movie trash? That doesn't even start with a B. Anyways, I'm here with one of my fellow watchers, Tim. How's it going, Tim?
Hey man. Can't wait to get started on this podcast. You want to listen? Man, that's a terrible chord.
That was pretty good.
That was. I can't. What is it? Kiwi accent or what is it?
You want to try it again?
Nah, I'm okay. I'll leave it to the professionals.
Okay. All right, and then we got Dr. Cosmic himself. What's up?
We're not doing Get Help. We're not doing it. It's not happening. Hey, what's up, everybody? Watch out for his hands. They sparkle.
This movie does sparkle in our hearts. What'd you guys think of it? What'd you guys think of the last Thor movie we're gonna get? The end all Ragnarok, Doom Patrol, all that.
I think it's a fun movie. I mean, it has a lot of good laughs in it. It had a change of tone. It's like a fun movie to watch. But I do understand some of the hate. The comedy is good, but it encroaches on the seriousness of the situation. I mean, when they were, I think, advertising this movie, and also from what people researched on their own and all that kind of stuff, when they heard Ragnarok, that's like basically Thor's apocalypse, and I felt like this movie was, not what people were expecting, which is, sometimes a good thing, but on other times when it tries to lend itself to, a more a serious note, that it kind of hinders it in some places. But I mean, yeah, we'll get into some of the deeper parts of that later, I guess.
Yeah, I think that I definitely agree with you. It's definitely an improvement on the Dark World.
Yeah,
but
for
but
sure.
but they didn't quite take it the way I wanted them to, because like what
Right?
you said, the some of the humor, I mean, it's great. It makes you laugh. It makes you chuckle. You can't help but laugh, and it definitely gives you a lot better visuals to look at. We're not looking at Black Swan or whatever, or some weird
Speaking
Infinity.
of visuals, Cate Blanchett, am I right, guys?
We're not looking at some weird liquid Infinity Stone that isn't really a stone. It's kind of on crack. But yeah, like, it gives us a lot better visuals. The story is a little bit more put together, I feel
Yes.
like. But
There
what I
there
wanted,
is a story behind this, and I think it sets off of what they're trying to do, like with the whole message and the premise of it. There's a lot of hit points. There's a structure to it. It doesn't feel as, you know, half-assed or whatever, like Thor: The Dark World was.
yeah. But what I wanted them to do, and again, it's not really fair to say, oh well, I wanted them to do this, and I thought it was going to be this. But I mean,
Hmm.
like, even with Thor: The Dark World, they said they were going to make it. And even with Doctor Strange, they said they were going to give it horror elements. And
Yeah.
I kind of wanted that in Thor Ragnarok. I kind of wanted that from Surtur. I definitely wanted it from Hela, and we kind of got it with her minions or whatever toward, later parts of the film, but I wanted it to be a little bit more uh, ominous, I guess. Um, but I mean, it's such an entertaining movie, definitely more entertaining than Dark World. So I can't really complain, but it's just there's untapped potential with Thor, and I still don't think it's fully been mined.
Right. I saw Ragnarok kind of as the Guardians of the Galaxy, where something a lot of people didn't know because you had to read comics and you had to be a Marvel fan. So people, half the audience is probably going into this like Ragnarok based on the trailer. It seems bad, but that's all I know about it. I don't know what to expect. So they kind of, just like Guardians of the Galaxy, they're like talking tree, talking raccoon. What is this? I have no idea what's going on. They were able to make it their own, put comedy in there, put songs that you love. And that's what they did with Ragnarok. They just added comedy and songs, amazing soundtrack, amazing playlist. So that's what I feel happened. And a decision was made to either keep it dark or serious or keep it fun and lighthearted so that, people could, I guess have it one way or the other. They just chose the one that already for sure made them money with Guardians of the Galaxy. And of course, like you said, the visuals are great. A jetpack dragon on fire is always a win.
That was
oh my goodness,
really great.
The opening sequence kind of did set the pace for the entire movie. It was like, whoa, why is Thor cracking jokes all of a sudden? It's kind of a serious moment, his enemies right in front of him. He's chained up. I know he has a certain swagger about him, but it wasn't like, you dare threaten Asgard or something like that. It was just like, ha, son of a bee, I'm a grab my hammer and toss it around. But
yeah, I feel like the humor in this movie could kind of it could have stayed and it could have worked if they did kind of a bit of, like the way Sam Raimi did Peter Parker in Spider-Man. There were times where it was like Peter was the only kind of serious character in the world, and like all the other people were kind of like joking around him or making fun of him or making fun of the situation and stuff like that.
do you have an example?
I think they could have done that with like Thor, where Thor kind of is only one of the few people that is like taking it kind of seriously, and everyone else is kind of like willing to make light of it around him. I mean, like I think the son of bit in the beginning that could have stayed because Thor is a bit cocky, so that could have stayed definitely like that. But yeah, anyway.
Well, yeah, and even when I'm watching this movie, because another character takes himself more seriously, I was like, should he be the king of Asgard? Like, because Thor's kind of doing his own thing, and of course, the character I'm talking about is Heimdall, because Heimdall's the only one protecting Asgard.
Yeah,
saving
Heimdall for
everybody.
king.
Yeah.
Also, does he do a funny bit in this movie? I thought there's like a joke he says.
No, he was completely serious throughout.
Just a lot of BA.
Oh, dude. Heimdall for this one, which we'll get to the scene later, but I do want to say real fast, is that I forgot this movie proves that Heimdall has the Soul Stone.
Okay.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
All right. I didn't like how Thor predicted the ending of the movie right off the bat, where he was like, hey, Surtur, if you grow really big and destroy a planet, that would be spectacular to see. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's going to happen then, because he said it. What's up with that? What's with giving away the movie in the first 2 minutes of it?
My thing is that this movie was the movie I watched, and I realized afterwards, like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna watch trailers anymore, because there was a lot of moments in this film where I felt like man, what's his name? How do you say his name?
The director?
Yeah.
Taika Waititi.
Taika?
Taika Waititi.
Okay, I'm gonna call him Taika. Taika where Taika wants you to be like kind of surprised and like have all these moments where you're just like, oh, what, that happened? Oh my goodness. And then like this, oh, what, and they're lost because they were shown in the trailer. So like the whole beginning scene where he's fighting Surtur's army or whatever they're called, it's like basically like, oh man, do I love my hammer, Mjolnir. If anything happened to Mjolnir, especially the hammer part, I don't know what I would do because it's so cool. Because it's just like the camera's focusing, like he's throwing it, he's spinning it, he's flying with it. It's just like a Mjolnir showcase. And I'm like, yeah, but it gets destroyed. And like that, I think that was the whole point where like Hela catches it and destroys it. That was supposed to be a big, like, shocking moment. But it's like, we already saw that. That was like the seller for this movie.
Yeah.
That she smashes the hammer. And then later on, when, spoiler alert, Hulk is in it. Like, wait, yeah, we know this. Oh, who's this champion? I've never seen him even, and I've been here forever, Loki says.
I feel
And
like that's the bigger one that should have been kept a secret.
yeah,
The hammer being destroyed, I feel like they had to show just to sell the movie because uh, an obscure villain like Hela, um, once again going up against a villain like that, as iconic as Loki, they have to compete with that somehow. So they're like, oh well, what can we show that makes her, as cool as Loki?
right. And I feel like though when they do that, uh, when you're like, okay, yeah, they show that the hammer is destroyed, it still doesn't. It's not that big of a deal, because later on, the whole point of this movie. I know we're skipping around a whole bunch, but it's like this is kind of the main problem I have with it. I mean, it works out because I mean it makes sense, but it doesn't have the weight to it. Is that Thor real like, oh, the power was inside the hammer, the power was inside me the whole time. It's like that or whatever.
Yeah.
But and he keeps on going on about it like, oh man, if I had my hammer, boy, she would be in trouble. And I'm like, you did have your hammer and she wasn't a problem. So like
Well, I was gonna
that
say,
shouldn't be on the table.
even at Sakaar, when Thor keeps telling the Grandmaster that he's the god of thunder, not the Lord of Thunder. He's the god of thunder. And yet he has to learn that same lesson later in the movie. It's kind of ridiculous too. It's
Yeah,
like,
like
yeah, you're kind of like motivating yourself, but not knowing it just yet. And even then you have to have a astral space father pep talk, which I totally felt like bad for Black Panther because it seems like Odin has better advice than his dad, Black Panther's dad. He's like,
uh,
hey, by the way, this is how you unlock your new power. And the Black Panther's dad is like, you're a good man. You're probably not going to be a good king. Okay, bye. I got to go chase some antelope now.
uh yeah, so I felt like that was the problem with this movie. Was it just the lesson or whatever, the big change didn't really have, like, they didn't stick to it.
Yeah, they
Did
definitely
anybody
kind of
did it?
backtracked at some
Yeah, I was
points.
gonna say, did anybody else get that same feeling from this?
Right. I felt like this movie was so long based on like just talking moments. And I love the talking moments. I feel great for them. But every time Hela and Scourge was on the screen, I'm like, it seemed like they were just walking everywhere and just like, so tell me about yourself. Okay, let's go to the secret Asgard place.
It was
Oh,
like
yeah,
the filler episodes of the movie.
yeah,
That was another big thing, right? Like they kept on going like, ooh, Scourge is kind of like the bad guy and he's gonna be evil and he's siding with Hela. But didn't in the trailer they show him do his famous last stand scene?
yeah. I always thought that that was just him killing Thor. Like, you're going the wrong way. I'm gonna kill Thor. Kind of jump.
I don't know. I felt like that was another thing. There's just like a lot of, you know, it's this is supposed to be a big moment, but I was like, I already know this.
Yeah, it was just too many storylines for me. You got the Thor trying to stop Ragnarok. You got Hela trying to control the galaxy. You got Scourge motivation to try to choose between good and bad. You got Hulk trying to stay on Sakaar or leave Sakaar because he has no friends. You got Valkyrie's motivation. It's just a lot of characters and a lot of screen time.
You have the Thor and Loki dynamic.
You got the Heimdall.
Well, that worked for me. The Thor and Loki dynamic, always works.
That lasted, which I'm glad, throughout the films, because that is a huge part. It's just that I felt like in this movie, it's a lot to take in, and that it doesn't get its like special thing, I feel like in Thor: The Dark World, that was like the main focus. He has to go and he has to ask help from him because their mom died and all that kind of stuff. Like that was like a bigger, two brothers.
Yeah.
And that felt like a two brothers movie, whereas this one felt like not two brothers. That was like, and featuring two brothers.
I think the really big problem for me personally is that this movie suffered from one of the many problems Justice League had, which was that there was supposed to be this big looming threat over I guess I'll just call it a realm. In Justice League's case, it was Earth, but in this film's case, it was Asgard. And you don't really feel that threat. Like, they kind of show people running away or whatever, but you don't really feel the effects of it.
Asgard is very less populated than I thought it was.
Yeah, exactly. And with this movie, I was kind of expecting even more than what I expected from, seeing like destruction or whatever in Justice League, because it's called Thor Ragnarok, and I kind of wanted them to get a little bit more mythological with it. I'm so glad that they went Kirby with it. I felt like they could have actually pushed it a little further with the Kirbyisms and have made things look maybe even more colorful than they were, because sometimes it was kind of just two-tone, like even Thor brings it out, or
red,
Thor,
white,
he was like, red, white, pick a color. And even right now when I'm looking at Valkyrie's costume on my computer, it's just white and blue. So I felt like they could have pushed the envelope more in that department, but also I wanted more of the mythology, like the serpent of Asgard. I feel like they could have thrown that in there and made it possibly, Kirbified it, whatever you want to call it.
I was gonna say, like, I could watch the trailer for Thor: The Dark World, and at the very end, instead of the Thor: The Dark World title show up, Thor Ragnarok shows up, and that I feel like fits more of what my idea for it would have been.
Yeah.
I have no idea what happened.
It's the final movie. There's an Infinity Stone in it.
Is there?
Jane is, well, I'm saying in Thor: The Dark World. That's what my mind would have went to for the climactic finish of the Thor trilogy. Like, there's an Infinity Stone in it. Thor's kind of like beat up in it. Loki's there, but he's kind of good / bad. Jane's there, and she's like a Kool-Aid demon. Yeah.
I think they probably just jumped the gun with those storyline, or with that storyline, and with Dark World in particular, which is kind of unfortunate and also ironic, because I was watching an interview with Tom Hiddleston and they were asking him which film was hardest to shoot, and he said it was Thor: The Dark World, because there was so many reshoots and stuff, because they they didn't have the story like down pat, and a lot of stuff was changing.
No, really? They didn't have a story? What? You sure?
But yeah, like, now that you mention it, that totally would have made more sense.
I just feel like maybe there was something along the lines of like what we discussed with Iron Man, where they were originally going to do the Mandarin first and have Obadiah be the finale boss. I wonder if that was somewhere along the same lines of this, where it was just like, oh, this will be the last movie. And later on, when they were trying to come up with a filler one, they were like, let's just make that last one the second one, and then we'll think of a third one. And then really what should have been was that this kind of Planet Hulk spinoff uh should have been the second one, because I'm sure everyone still is and was then hungry for a new Hulk solo movie.
Yeah. Well, now that you mention it, though, it actually does make sense because, uh, like Loki even dies in the second movie, and I'm kind of convinced now that I've watched some of these interviews that he was supposed to like actually die. Um,
Yes.
so had that have been the final movie, like, yeah, it does make a lot more sense. But I think that you've also said in the past, off air, obviously, that these two movies could have been like combined in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have, in a sense. There are some, like Steven was saying, the Hela and Scourge moments, like, oh, he could have done without. I feel like there's a lot of moments in both of these movies a lot of people felt like were out of place, but combining the two, that might be a little bit of a stretch now, thinking back on it. But I mean, it's doable. I think there's not enough, again, like important storytelling in each one, that when you combine them together, it would be too complicated, you
Yeah,
know?
Does
But
any,
anyway,
does anybody else feel that the realms are kind of just like one planet in each realm?
they kind of feel
Because it's like,
empty
yeah, it feels
to
like
me.
Yodaheim planet, and you're like, wait, I thought this was a realm.
Like
He's
I
like,
don't.
nope,
Well, no, I
Asgard.
don't. Yeah, I don't mind that they're planets, but they always just feel empty. Like the
Right.
Dark World or the uh, what's it called? Zvortalheim, I think is what it's supposed to be called. I don't think they called it that in the Dark World, but
which one?
Zvortalheim or Svartalheim, which is like
Vanaheim.
home of the.
Vanaheim is the,
No, I'm talking
what's his
about
name?
the home of the Dark Elves.
Oh, is that Alfheim?
Oh yeah, I think they called it Alpha. Okay, I'm getting mixed up with the original mythology because Alfheim is home of elves, but then you have dark elves, which is another realm. But anyway, yeah, okay, yeah, it's probably Alfheim in the movie.
You know what's
Yeah.
great is that we won't have to go to any of those realms ever again because all of Thor's friends are dead. Who are
Yeah.
you? Ha!
Well, real quick,
Tell me
no, but
about
what I
it.
was gonna say is like Alfheim was just a barren desert. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Jotunheim.
Jotunheim, barren
What's the,
planet with ice.
yeah.
What's his name? Now I'm forgetting his name. I just said it like 10 minutes ago. Demon dude.
Demon dude.
Scourge. Scourge.
Surtur.
Surtur.
Surtur. I just like said it 2 seconds ago. I don't know how I forgot it. Anyway, Surtur, his planet was probably like the coolest only because like the creatures
Isn't it,
kind of integrated with
is it Helheim?
the land. Yeah, Helheim.
Yeah.
But it was just, empty world with lava.
Yeah.
And it's like
Barren
I
world with
thought,
sand, barren world with ice, barren world with fire.
yeah, I thought these realms were supposed to be like advanced, godlike. That's what I'm saying. Like they could have, if you're gonna go Kirby, go full Kirby, make these creatures look like insane, but also uh, make this like a mythical epic. But if you're not gonna go Kirby, if you're gonna like go more, I guess naturalistic, you could say, and like Lord of the Rings, then do that route, but stick to something. I feel like Thor, in particular, his trilogy is kind of sort of all over the place. It doesn't
Oh,
really
yeah.
have any sense of direction,
Mm-hmm.
which is why the first film is so strong for me. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
That's pretty
that's it.
cemented when it happens to storyline. I like they it is an origin film, so you know where it's gonna start and you kind of know where it's gonna finish and stuff like that. And I feel like there you get to explore more space because you don't really have to worry. You have a guideline kind of thesis you can go off of, a skeleton of a story. Steve, real quick, I mention, um I thought I mentioned something where like the beginning of the film where he's like running from the dragon and then the teleport happens and then it's like the dragon head spills out. I thought I said like that this happened in a movie once already and we were just seeing it again.
A Marvel movie?
Yeah, it's a Marvel movie. I thought there was something along those lines of like we've kind of seen this already.
No.
A giant head being severed.
And then
Oh. Well,
fluid
the
pouring
head
on.
the head wasn't severed, but when they took down one of the Leviathan in Avengers, the head kind of falls towards the camera, which I
No.
guess was
Or was it the
that
spraying
wasn't
of
it?
the juices that you're talking about?
Was that?
The spraying of the juices of the dragon head on people?
Mm,
All right, well, you think about that. Uh,
yeah, I don't know. It just felt like a cliche for some reason. I was like, I thought we've seen this before. Anyway,
no doubt.
um,
Cliche, no doubt.
yeah.
I was going to say,
Oh,
yeah,
and like
before we
maybe
go,
a Spy Kids movie? I'm just kidding.
before we go any further, I want to talk about the, well,
Cate
I was going
Blanchett.
to say, no, we're talking about Doctor Strange.
Oh,
And Doctor Strange, for me,
oh, that was a big thing. Yeah, sorry.
right.
It's not what I was thinking, but it was what I was going to say earlier. Go ahead.
It's for me, like, it doesn't really quite out say it, but does he have full control of the Infinity Stone? Like, what's he doing? He's like stopping time, moving around, and then starting time, right?
No, he's teleporting.
He's t- yeah, but he's not creating the sing ring, or he's not doing any spells with his hands. He's just doing it.
But he's like doing a small band thing. It's
Yeah, it
not
looks
like
like he
this.
just does it with two fingers now.
He's
Like
not doing
kind of he doesn't have to lift his arm and do it.
exactly because it's like within the room. He's not like going anywhere like outside the room. Well,
See,
I mean, he does do it so when he like first initially gets into the house and he's like sitting in the chair.
right. I thought that he had like complete control over the Infinity Stone because when he did the Thor beer thing, that's reversing time so that it's full again. So
Mm.
I think he has like not complete control, but like a whole lot of control over that time Infinity Stone. Probably as much as Vision has control over his Infinity Stone. And like he doesn't even have to like open it or use it. He's just like doing it like constantly, like no spells, no nothing. I'm just like one with the Infinity Stone, which is crazy powerful for just having one movie. I know he's like spent 38 years in the dark dimension battling Dormammu and having control over, getting his Sorcerer Supreme level on, upgrading through grinding. I get that. But it's a too big of a jump for a cameo in a different movie for me. I don't know how he's going to act in Infinity War, but
I
I'm
was
afraid
really hoping with how, you know, Telltale, like you were saying, like with Mjolnir, like they were showing it, shooting around, like, oh, I hope nothing happens to Mjolnir, wink. And then what was yours?
the Eye of Agamotto.
No, 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 no. You were saying something that was like very kind of on the nose or telling about Ragnarok.
Uh,
Oh, I was saying that it was Hulk, right?
Yeah, Hulk's one, yeah, where they're like, oh, Hulk and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking they were doing with Doctor Strange because I already had, so much, of that. I thought what was going to happen when they were like, we can't defeat Hela. Oh no, like what's going to happen? And then like later on, I think Korg shows up or something along the lines of other people, show up and help, but really don't really do anything. I thought for sure Doctor Strange was going to show up and like help out, but he didn't.
yeah, but he didn't. He can't travel between the realms
Why not?
because he's never done it before. He can only send people like to Earth far away. Like he can send you from New York to Norway, and like he can take
Yeah.
somebody that just landed on
I
Earth.
think as much as I would have wanted to see that too, Tim, I think it would have worsened Steven's problem that of Doctor Strange learning too much too fast.
Mm. Yeah, I can see that.
Although what I was gonna say with that issue is to me, Doctor Strange is obviously the most like far out Marvel character in the MCU. And I mean, you could theorize since he has the Eye of Agamotto and like Wong is cool with him using it now that maybe he's gone into like some weird time
Hyper,
loop where he's trained
the hyperbolic
and
time chamber.
Yeah, something like that, where it doesn't really, where he can train pretty much for endless amounts of time, and it's not, time is not progressing.
Yeah.
Is that why his hair is so dark, so white around the edges, or was that like that at the beginning of the movie?
He was like that in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna do that. Like I thought that's what they were gonna do with the whole Dormammu thing. I was like, hey, that would be pretty dope. And they didn't do that. Like as soon as he saw it,
That would have been cool. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, he gets the whites in his hair because he's like, I've been in there that long, and like everyone's like, what,
Yeah. What I like about that Doctor Strange one was that,
which I mean, technically that doesn't make sense because time. Okay, so yeah, time passed there, but then time didn't pass there, so he just gets. Okay, yeah, okay. So
when,
then, would he still be? Would he be old then?
Yeah, he'd be really old.
Yeah, because I still think even though
that'd be weird.
Like time is, even though he's stopping time, it's still moving because he's moving.
It's moving. It's moving in the dark dimension.
Yeah.
Well, it was looping in the dark.
I don't know. Time's weird. So, relative dimensions.
So for each like 13 seconds he was there, he was aging.
Yeah, total hyperbolic time jumper. I got you.
Man, that would have been cool though.
Dude,
white hair, man. I did not
why don't we just write the movies? You know, guys.
We could, let's do it. That'll be our next event. Is we're gonna rewrite all the Marvel movies in chronological order. I'm just kidding.
I can barely do this. This is hard. I really like.
Get ready for like half the movies to stay the same.
Yeah,
and then half the movies just to have me in there instead, like me doing cameos instead of Stan Lee.
By the way, speaking of cameos, real quick. Sorry, Steven, I know you're trying to move on to something else.
Okay.
By like the 5th time I've watched this movie since I've like purchased it or whatever on iTunes, I noticed that the 3-headed creature, one of the heads of that creature, the far left head, is Taika Waititi. I'm not even joking.
Nah, really?
Yeah.
Movie.
He's 2 characters in this movie? Jeez.
Yep. It's just like what he said. We thought he was joking, but he really is egomaniacal. So
he mocapped for Surtur, he mocapped for Korg and played Korg. So he mocapped, he played a character, and now he's a head of some guy.
Yeah, I can't figure out who the other 2 heads are. So if somebody has figured that out, definitely leave a comment. But on the scene where Korg is trying to recruit Loki, and Loki is like just recovering from getting shocked, pause it and you'll see Meek and everybody and the whole gang, and the 3-headed creature, the far left head, is Taika.
That's crazy. I was gonna say the relationship between Thor and Loki in this movie, like you did say, it's a little different than most, but it seems like every time the Odin bros see each other, they're like, "Oh, you're still alive," which is like kind of sad in its own regard. But then when they're leaving Doctor Strange, Thor almost forgot his hammer, but he wouldn't forget, Loki. Doctor Strange was like, "Don't forget your hammer." He goes, "Yeah, but what about my brother?" So, I mean, I don't know. The relationship in this movie is kind of different than most, and it makes me think, based on later down in the movie when Thor gets an upgrade in his godlike power, where he's like, "You're not, you're the god of thunder," which leads to an amazing fight scene, and him getting being able to control lightning and use it like hands and everything. Does Loki get an upgrade in the future of being mischievous, or does he have his own thing to learn? Because I was trying to think of how Loki could get an upgrade, because I'm sure Hela started off with just growing knives out of her hands, and then it was like, let me grow knives out of the ground and hurl them at a giant beast, which is amazing. And Thor's like, I can shoot lightning out of my hands, but now I can use lightning as a second arm or a third arm, and just like whip people around and punch them with lightning. I'm like, that's amazing, Loki.
Well, I mean, how good is it really when like it didn't even take down Hela?
Well, Hela's unstoppable, which also is a horrible part in this movie, because I think they only said it once with Odin, where he's like, she'll be unstoppable. once she reaches Asgard. But then they don't mention it again, which kind of makes, get her getting stabbed and shocked and everything. It's like, wait, why doesn't she die? You kind of like forgot that one tiny scene where he died.
They had to separate her from Asgard.
Right. Yeah, but once she's in Asgard, she should say something like, "You fools, I can't be defeated here." And then they're like, "Yeah, but we're still gonna try," and they still all die. But something to remind the audience a little bit, because I know I forgot like parts of the movie.
My bigger question is, what was her plan after she conquered Asgard and killed everybody? What was she gonna do?
Make more skeleton army and go on to the next one.
Yeah, conquer not only the 9 realms, but further on the whole galaxy.
But she's only strung on Asgard. That's what I'm saying.
But she's still Hela. I mean, like, she got...
Yeah, I was going to say, she crushed the Mjolnir from Norway.
And that was when she was on Earth, not even near. And she got straight out of prison. Straight out of prison, she was able to stop Mjolnir with one hand and crush it. I mean,
Good
talk
point.
about a way to, like, top your villain. I mean, that was crazy. Which makes me think she didn't die. Also, she didn't die because there was a puff of green right before that sword crushed her, and it was kind of like the green of where her imprisonment was. So I'm thinking she just went back there, and she's gonna like stay there until, because she's gonna be weak. No more Asgard means no more full power.
I mean,
it's like Asgard isn't a place.
It's like it all comes. It all might come full circle, I should say, because we still don't know whether she did make it alive or not. But it's like somebody once said, to challenge them is to court death. So, I mean, we don't know.
Wait. Mm-hmm. What?
In Avengers. When the other is talking to Thanos, to challenge them is to court death.
Okay, cool.
So, I mean, the goddess of death, can she die? It's a good question.
See, that's the thing also, is that the whole Infinity War is death going to be involved with Thanos? And because I think the goddess of death isn't death itself. I think she's the goddess of death, but I don't think she's like the entity death.
Well, yeah, but I think it would be cool. I don't think so either. I think they are two separate things, but I think it would be cool if they at least got, I don't know, maybe if death, like somehow the entity possesses the body of Hela.
Okay, yeah, like save
her. And then slowly turns into a skeleton once Thanos starts killing people, which would mirror the comic book.
That would be pretty awesome. I would actually like that.
Because I know they got Cate Blanchett, and I don't want her to go to waste like Heimdall or Idris Elba. So, I mean, yeah, you got Cate Blanchett. You might as well use her.
What I really like about this movie is how all these new characters are kind of summed up with the first few seconds of their arrival. Like the Valkyrie, where she just shows up and he's like, "Hey, he's mine. I'm drunk and I'm super strong." And you're like, okay, that's her entire character. Moving on. Hey, I'm Jeff Goldblum. I'm freaky and play the piano and whisper a lot. And you're like, okay, that's his thing.
I'm into some kinky stuff.
Yeah. I do some dirty things on my ship. Don't go in there.
I got a melting stick.
Why are you giving me the melting stick? You just talk back to me. That's high treason. Dude, that henchwoman is so freaking funny. I love her.
And Tim, what was your comparison with Mark Ruffalo's character?
Oh, yeah. Mark Ruffalo was pulling a very strong, I feel like, Billy Crystal vibe in this movie. Like, I don't know why, but I was like, why does Bruce Banner sound like, a little Jewish in here? So I don't know. Like, it's just like some of his mannerisms, or like this accent that he does. I don't know. It was very jarring, I thought, because I was like, I don't remember Bruce Banner sounding like that so much.
Yeah, to me, the first time I saw it, I actually like that he did that because I've always criticized Mark Ruffalo for kind of mumbling. But ever since you've made that comparison, now every time I watch this movie, I all I can think of is Billy Crystal.
Yeah, like it's so uh yeah. Yeah, it's not necessarily bad, but it's just such an interesting choice. Because now like I'm expecting it for Infinity War. Like if I don't hear I guess we're not gonna see him in Infinity War because he said if I turn into the Hulk, I don't know if I'll ever come back. Or something like that. That'd be crazy. Anyway, my thing is that what we were saying, I know it's a small thing and we've already kind of passed on from it, but I thought the big thing about Loki being Odin was gonna play a huge part, but that's like done over like real quick, and it's
Oh yeah,
just like how quickly again we or that how if that supports the whole oh, this movie was supposed to be here and they weren't sure what to do and like how Dark World was supposed to be the end and they were expecting one afterward that they had to quickly like rewrite that like nope that didn't happen oh he
yeah.
got found out real
Well,
quick.
also too, it goes back to what I was saying, that I really do think that Loki was supposed to die in that movie. I think that they kind of shot themselves in the foot and they got scared and they were like, "Oh, what do we do?"
Yeah, because that would have been a good character arc for him. He was the first bad guy and then later on like when after the mom dies and I mean there's even a lot of callbacks to it like with what's it Jane Foster being like slapping him and being like, "That's for New York," you know.
I didn't. I agree with you, Tim. That definitely this actor was very poorly wasted on this movie. But thinking back on his scene with his sons in Norway, where he's just like, "Look at this place. It's beautiful." Like, I guess it's pretty much nothing but a green screen, but the way he delivered that was pretty awesome. That Norway scene was horribly CGI. Best suit up ever, though, between Thor and Loki fighting Hela. The way he just like slams it on the ground and he just magically transform it into his suit. That was awesome. But yeah, I can't get over that he was just like, okay, I'm gonna play my son who's playing myself, and then I'm gonna get killed in the next 14 seconds. Is that right? Yeah. We probably need you like between lunches. That's it. Just between a lunch day. If you could just stop by, put you in 2 sets of clothing. That's it. One of them is a sack of potatoes that we just made into a suit. So that's pretty great.
Yeah, that scene was just a smidgen better than the scene of Aquaman jumping into the ocean. Like both were super CGI backgrounds. But I wonder, in the case of Thor Ragnarok, I wonder if the reason it was CGI is because the original scene was supposed to take place in like a junkyard, like Odin was supposed to be like a hobo, and maybe he thought he was in like Norway or whatever, and Loki and Thor were going to be like, Dad, what are you talking about? You're like sitting in a trash can right now.
Your mother, she called for me. That's a raccoon, Dad. That's not Mom.
That's a guy snorting cocaine. But yeah, there were a lot of reshoots with this movie. Same for Dark World, but I think that this one, and they at least knew where they wanted to take it a little bit more than Dark World.
Right. I do kind of see Hela's like anger toward Thor, it seemed a lot, because I'm sure she felt bad that Odin wanted another kid. Like she wasn't enough to like, first of all, Odin, all the dads, it seems, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe are terrible people. Like not in their own right, but like, tried to do good with Black Panther after killing his brother and leaving the kid out there. And this guy, locking up his firstborn just because well, definitely he had reason to lock her up, but not telling anybody to lock her up, which also kind of goes back to his father in Thor: The Dark World too, where he was like, you know what, bury that Infinity Stone, bury it so deep that everybody thinks that it's non-existent. So I guess he learned from his father.
Well, also
bury things deep underground and never reveal them to anybody.
Really quickly, you brought up a good point that I almost or we almost skipped over about her being imprisoned. It took me like 5 or 7 or 100 times to watch this movie over to realize that her being imprisoned was directly connected to him being alive. I was like, what?
What?
I feel like,
As
I
long
feel like
as Odin was
that
alive,
should
yeah.
have been explained more, like, because they only said it once and I completely missed it, like, every single time I've watched this movie. I don't know how, because it's like,
I think Odin says it where he said, like, I'll no longer be able to hold her off anymore. So it sounded like Odin was just constantly having, like, his foot on the door or whatever.
So
And that since he didn't tell anybody, he was like, well, the cat's out of the bag now.
well,
I'm dead.
but when he said that, I thought he meant that, like, I didn't know if she was still, like, looming around somewhere and he's the reason she hasn't come back to Asgard. Like, I didn't know she was imprisoned and, like, I don't know. There was just a lot of context missing, I felt like. Because Steven was pointing out that, what was it that you said that they didn't explain enough?
that she's invincible only on.
Yeah, invincible. Yeah, like, that, to me, I kind of got that got through to me more so than this did. Like, I don't know how I missed this so many times rewatching it.
Which gives a lot of credit to Odin because, even an old dementia Loki infused spell Odin can still keep the goddess of death at bay, which is pretty awesome. Says a lot about his character. And if we go back to the comics, doesn't only the gods of Norse mythology die because people forget about them?
I don't know.
Okay, I read it in a comic, and I think it was a one-off, but like Loki was like, everybody stop, we can't kill the humans anymore because if they die, we die, because we are only remembered and are powerful because they remember us. And they're like, shut up, you're stupid.
I think that was like Earth X or something.
Okay, you know what? Yeah.
That's like some really obscure kind of something.
Yeah.
I saw it on Tumblr, and then
very American Gods-ish.
Like, because everyone else is like dead except for them. And they're all like, we're only alive because people still believe in us. And that's like a very frail thing because there's so few people left even.
I guess I should talk about my Heimdall theory now, because what we're getting...
go ahead, because I didn't know what it is, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we already talked about Cate Blanchett, so I'm pretty good.
All right. Yeah. I'll keep the picture on her just for you, Tim, when I'm talking. So the reason why I thought Heimdall is not only because the last Infinity Stone is orange and he's got orange eyes, but because when Thor was at Sakaar and then he like kind of started meditating and he's like, Heimdall, I need to see through your eyes. And then all of a sudden Thor's right there next to him. And then he's like telling him like, go for the devil's anus. It's ha ha ha. I said anus, guys. You want me to say it 9 times in this movie? Anus, 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 anus. Sorry. So he's like, so what made Heimdall have the power? Because we've never seen that before. We've only seen him have the power to look at things far away, but we've never seen him be able to bring someone, it's almost like he brought Thor's soul to Asgard and said, this is what's going on. This is, what I'm telling you, the soul, and then I'll bring you back to your body, which is at Sakaar.
That is very interesting.
Yeah. It was kind of like, because it was just because Heimdall, I don't know if it's because Heimdall isn't just referenced more in the movies, that's one of his powers in the comic books, but like based on this and based on the last Infinity Stone, and also based that most of the Infinity Stones are on Asgard or have Asgard potential in it, what with the Ether, the Cosmic Cube, and what else was there? What else is there? Mind.
Loki Scepter.
Loki Scepter was with Thanos.
Yeah.
Purple Gem was just
I'm still putting my money on Wakanda, but if I had to put my money on any other theory, it would definitely be that. Just because I feel like it would be the most organic.
Yeah.
But what about
I,
Adam Warlock, guys?
well, that
Well,
one, I
what
want them to
about
do that,
Adam Warlock?
but it's just like I feel like it's too much. The only other one besides
Well,
those two or three is people are still posting about Thor's hammer. What if it's inside Thor's hammer that Hela broke and there was clearly nothing inside of it? I was
it's
like,
just on the
why are we
ground.
still talking about this?
Nobody picked it up. It's still in Norway.
It's
Well,
not Thor's hammer.
well, of course we have the whole like Thanos. What's that word that Thanos is used as an acronym, but it's not an acronym? Is it an acronym? Where the T stands for something, the H stands for something.
Yeah, that's an acronym.
Okay, yeah. So the T stood for like crap, I forgot now.
T
But
was
then
Tesseract.
yeah, and the A stands for
H I thought was going to be Hela's helm or helmet, but
whoa.
I don't know. I thought she was going to have it like on her helmet, kind of like it would have been a little too similar to Vision, I guess, but
Yeah.
because she's kind of like the ruler of souls or whatever.
So everybody said that the H was going to be him, which is what Adam Warlock was called, I think, when he first arrived.
Oh,
Or it was going to be Heimdall, which is an H.
yeah.
So I'm shooting for the Heimdall based on this little scene with him, which, like you said, Chaz, he's really should be the ruler. He should be the one sitting at the throne at the end of the movie. I don't know why he's.
Well, I'm hoping, and this is kind of getting into theory territory, so I don't know if Tim wants to cover up his ears.
Oh, yeah, sure. Give me a second.
It's just my conjecture. It's not anything I've read or anything because I've completely been staying away from everything. But I'm still wondering because we don't know who's going to make it out of Infinity War. But if the main core Avengers die off and Heimdall lives, so like say Thor dies and Heimdall's still alive, I'm hoping that he definitely won't become the ruler of Asgard because the Asgardians from the trailer, spoiler alert, or potential spoiler alert, the Asgardians from the trailer, they look like they've all been wiped out. So I'm hoping what happens is he becomes a citizen of Wakanda and kind of becomes not his right-hand guy, but, sort of like his right-hand guy of Black Panther.
Okoye is the right-hand man, kind of. If anything, he needs the Border Patrol guy again, because I assume that that guy's in prison for betraying the king. It could not be. It could be like, hey man, I get it. I know where you're coming from. Let's put it under the rug. But then I see where you're coming from. I was hoping that he would be a Guardians of the Galaxy member and just like kind of go with Drax on like let's kill Thanos, like kind of thing.
That would be pretty cool too. I wouldn't mind
Thanos
that.
killed my people. Thanos killed my wife and child. Let's do this. Yay.
All right. How do we signal Tim?
I think I'm going to screen share and then it'll like do a mind sweep and then that will probably signal him. Let's see if that works. Does that work? Is he back on?
I don't know.
Tim.
I guess we're just moving on. Moving on to let's see, who else have we not talked about? We talked about Hulk, Loki. We didn't talk about too much. Well, actually, no, we talked about him a little bit. Let's talk about Valkyrie because we didn't talk about her at all. Valkyrie, I feel like, was a super duper strong character. I really liked her character. I felt like we could have gotten a little bit more on her backstory. They showed us that really awesome flashback scene of her flying with all the Valkyries and Hela, flying towards them, wiping them all out, which was really cool, but I kind of wanted more. Like, I actually kind of wanted to see that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than this, because they hyped it up so much. Because I guess it kind of goes to Tim's point of them showing us too much of other things, that was the one thing that actually was a surprise. So,
Did they ever say how she escaped?
how Valkyrie
Valkyrie.
escaped?
Yeah.
Well,
It
I
was
guess she just hightailed it after that one Valkyrie chick died.
right. It looked like she pushed her out of the way, but I guess she pushed her kind of like the same thing with Hulk, like off the cliff, which created a portal to Sakaar, where she got like, uh, I guess not. She probably didn't get turned gladiator. She probably like turned up, she probably beat everybody up, but then they're like, you know what? You're tough enough to gather more fighters.
Speaking of Valkyrie, how come no Pegasus lived?
They all died.
It's actually
Pegasi.
Pegasi. I'm just
Yeah. I was gonna say, why? How come? Well, I was just hoping for one, even like her Pegasus
that would
or
have actually
something
been really cool on the final act where she,
with the
you know,
fireworks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, we needed a Pegasus.
Like I just felt like they showed that scene and they were and like, oh wow, Valkyries, that's like so cool. It's the legendary sword of the Valkyries, like on that kind of stuff. And I was like, we're not gonna talk about the horse with wings? No, that's just like normal now. I guess that makes sense, with you guys being aliens and stuff. And
Wait, didn't in Thor that they had like horses with like 6 legs, if I remember?
no, but that was Odin's special horse. That's like a special horse.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I guess they were like, well, we sent all the Pegasi with the Valkyrie, and they never showed back up. Guess they're all dead. I guess we gotta use our 6-legged horses now.
Pegasus. Well, there's only that one. There's not several. I was gonna say Pegasus are like the children of that horse.
This movie definitely needed more horses. You know what I mean? needed more Pegasi, more horses, more winged bird creatures.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking about the final act of the movie, the blindness of Thor was so sudden. It totally makes me fear for Infinity War of how quickly they'll kill off any character.
I felt like, yeah, we didn't actually get to appreciate it, Like they didn't do the same thing with Thor's eye like they did with Mjolnir.
Right.
Like, boy, do I sure love having two eyes.
Let me shoot
especially this eye.
Yeah, they were just like, you know what? And your mom's fat, and then like cut his eye out, and you're like, oh God, why? Why would you do that? He's like already surrendered. Which also, he was fighting her with Odin's staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did she need Heimdall's sword when that staff could open up the Bifrost?
I don't think she knew that.
Oh, what? No, she had to. She was on conquest with Odin that whole time.
I don't think then Taika knew that. I don't think Taika saw the first Thor movie.
Oh, that's probably true. You know what? That's how Scourge helped save the day, is because he didn't tell her.
Wait, can it be used?
Yeah.
Are we remembering that right?
I think Loki used it.
What are we talking about? Sorry, I sort of
when
zoned out.
That the Odin's trident / pitchfork thing can be plugged in where the Bifrost sword goes and used to teleport.
Well, but he was using it as a weapon.
Right, but I'm saying that Hela, when she was like,
Hela went through all that trouble of trying to chase down Heimdall, who took the Bifrost sword, when in reality she didn't even need it.
Well, I was thinking more so that she didn't need it because she can form any weapon, not that she needed the scepter.
She was like a locksmith. She was just like, I got a key somewhere in here that matches exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was a bigger plot hole than her, getting the scepter.
But I really, really do love this end credits, not the end credit, but the end fight scene. It was just spectacular. The best one yet. Better than the Avengers team up, but just Thor taking down an army by himself with the help of Hulk, fighting off a dog.
You know what helps with that?
What?
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I thought you were going to say Bruce Banner's like falling flat to his death.
No. Led Zeppelin totally helps out in making your action scene, 10 times cooler.
Okay, so was Bruce Banner trying to like land on his face so that he could kill himself, or was he like
I don't know what he was trying to do.
he was just
Definitely not kill himself.
because that's kind of what Edward Norton did in not he didn't do it on purpose. He just tried to make the fall to trigger it, but then he fell, causing the Hulk to appear once he probably broke his back and all his bones in his bodies. Then the Hulk kind of takes over. So I'm thinking if my theory that Mark Ruffalo and Edward Norton are the same person, he knew that would work, so he fell face first onto the Rainbow Bridge.
Well, yeah. Yeah, obviously he knew that falling and everything would trigger the Hulk. I always kind of thought that. They just kind of made him look dead because, of course, comedic relief.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a callback to Edward Norton.
Yeah, that's I think we talked about how great the song choice was in this movie, like just the basic soundtrack, just a little like between scenes music, definitely on Sakar, which was definitely like you said, Chaz, definitely Kirby-esque. What with the bodyguards in the background and the
Yeah, I forgot. What was that panel that's straight from like a comic in the background? Forget which issue is it, if that's from. I don't know if it was like.
Wasn't it the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, that's what it was. Fantastic Four. That's what I was.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought it was something Kirby related and not necessarily Marvel related. But yeah, you're right. It was Fantastic Four.
Right. And yeah, like you said, you kind of wish that was part of the realms we knew beforehand. But I guess because Odin enslaved all the 9 realms that they don't have a lot of color, and they're just like, I guess we're all puppets now of Odin whenever he wants to kill us off again, bring his daughter back. You guys
I think the final piece that we haven't talked about that'll wrap everything up very nicely in a little tight, nice little package is
Cate
Korg.
Blanchett.
No, not her.
It rhymes with Korg. Cate Blanchett.
Maybe in Mixian. I think he clicks to talk. I don't know if he can like enunciate and modulate. But yeah, Korg, we didn't really touch on his character. And also the Warriors 3, Steven kind of brought them up, but yeah, they did die a little
dead.
Too quickly.
They're not important.
Whoever you are, surrender now. Okay, you should die immediately.
Whoever I am, did you just not hear the Cate Blanchett was awesome as Hela? Have I mentioned that yet?
No, she is. The part where she killed the first 2 of the 3, and then she like walked past them, and she's like, "I'm Hela," like she was drunk or something. It was awesome.
Yeah.
With each viewing though of this movie, I find Meek so much funnier each time. Just his body language, like just pure body language alone. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that character, both him and Korg should be like the new comic duo. I don't think we have a comic duo in the MCU yet, but man, those two.
You definitely have to like look at the background though in certain scenes, because he's actually there in a few scenes that I didn't even realize he was there. And he's like practicing karate constantly, and it's freaking hilarious. Like, I don't know. It would be even more hilarious if it turns out to be Taika Waititi doing the mocap, because that means he's now he's probably all the aliens. Just to be honest, he's probably all of those CGI.
I think he's the Pyramid Head guy too, if I'm not mistaken.
I guarantee he's all of them.
I feel like a lot of the alien alien style in this movie is phoned in a bit, because it's like there was one time, I think it's during the Hulk parade scene, you see this one chick and she just has like a bunch of braids like kind of like over her face.
Yeah.
And it's like in her mouth. I'm like,
Ew.
what? This is like, well, yeah, it goes like right across her mouth or something.
Yeah,
like
no, in the crowd when they pan during the gladiatorial scene, there is literally, I catch it every time. I'll have to show you guys. There is literally a guy just in red spandex. That's it.
that. Mm,
No joke. He has like the full face, zentai, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
Uh,
morph
co-
bodysuit.
yeah, costume, and I'm like, this is so Waititi. Not him personally, like in the suit, but I'm just thinking like this is so over the top ridiculous.
You know,
Um,
you had to save money somewhere. Probably, you know what? We're gonna have Chris Hemsworth and then a bunch of CGI, and then I'll play everybody else.
yeah. Um, but yeah, some of the what I was expecting from more from was those Kirby-esque guards
Mm-hmm.
that were really cool. They mainly came in blues and reds. I don't
Yeah,
think they came in any color, which I kind of want a Marvel Legends of them.
Oh
they were
yeah.
kind of like, what's it?
Um,
Their version of the Celestials, or you know,
yeah, but they had the opposite effect of the Last Jedi's Praetorian Guards, because the Praetorian Guards, I didn't like the look of them, but they
was it the
paid
sleeves?
off. Yeah, it was the whole thing. But they paid off, towards the end of the film, because they could actually like function and move and like fight, and it was amazing. These guys, they looked better than those guys, but they didn't do anything. Like I wanted to see them uh, do stuff, more
do
action stuff.
do something.
Yeah,
Did
they kind of
anybody?
just walked around.
I kind of just noticed this, but because you mentioned it, Timothy, about the Celestials, but didn't the guards kind of look like that huge guy in Guardians of the Galaxy who was holding up the Power Stone that the Collector was showing them?
That's a Celestial. That's a Beyonder or whatever.
So why does it look like the guards of
I
Sakaar
don't know. Aliens.
aliens? The Celestial was like nice suit, and then just like killed everybody right before, and then like just took on the suit. Okay, yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else want to talk about anything else before we go into the negative zone?
Did we talk about Hulk at all?
We kind of did. We've talked about Bruce more than anything. The thing with Hulk though is that his decision to fight Thor instead of like recognizing him, it's when he like looks back on the crowd and they're like, Hulk, Hulk, Hulk. And then he was like, you know what? I like this more than I like my friends in the Avengers. So I was like, wow, you're kind of a punk, Hulk. I mean, he gets into it later that he has no friends. Later on, Thor turns out to be his friend, which I'm not liking about Thor is that how he's gonna like bring the rest of the team in Infinity War. Like Avengers hasn't seen Thor since Civil War or Hulk, and all of a sudden he's gonna be like, "Hey, I brought back Hulk. I met this wizard here on Earth."
Well, it does. It kind of sort of plays into Hulk. Again, going back to the first Avengers, when Captain America tells Hulk to smash, and he gets that childish grin on his face. He obviously likes people cheering him on to destroy things. So obviously he would choose a crowd telling him to like beat on other people, or cheering him on to beat other people, beat up other people. He would prefer that. The thing that I didn't really like about Hulk is I prefer my Hulk not to speak. And I know it's a challenging thing for studios and movies or whatever. Like, oh, we have this character and he's kind of just a background character because he can't talk, so we should make him talk now. And
we gotta sell toys that have noise effects, and gotta have a mask that says Hulk smash.
Yeah, my big thing was that it wasn't Lou Ferrigno voicing, you know, it
That
was
hasn't
the.
happened like since the first movie, Tim.
yeah,
You mean the only other time that Hulk shows up?
pretty
I,
much, yeah.
I don't think, did Avengers? Did he show up? it Lou Ferrigno? I think it was a part of Lou Ferrigno, but it wasn't, Lou
Lou
Ferrigno.
Ferrigno was only in the Edward Norton one, and that was it. Yeah, I don't think he was in the first Avengers.
No, because again, we got the same dubbed
Yeah,
uh
and then Age
Mark
of
Ruffalo
Ultron,
voice.
it was Ruffalo, and in this it's Ruffalo.
So yeah,
Which I do have to say, his voice is a lot more palatable in this movie, even though he's talking, and I don't like it when he talks like, talks. If anything, like, if you're going to make Hulk talk, don't make him talk like a caveman. I just came across this Hulk storyline, which they might go into. I don't know if they're going to do it, because like Tim was saying, Bruce is like, ooh, if I turn into the Hulk again, I might not be able to turn back. There is this Hulk storyline in the comic books, and I can't believe I just came across it recently, where Hulk is smart, and
Oh, Professor Hulk's, yeah.
yeah, and it kind of has the opposite effect of when he turns back into Bruce Banner. He's kind of like this sort of zombie dude, which I don't want them to do that, but if they're able to make Hulk smart and make it to where if he turns into that was the other thing that played into it, is it was also opposite in the sense that him being angry actually turned him back into Bruce Banner. It didn't
whoa.
turn him into the Hulk. Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had to stay calm in fights, and he couldn't get angry, or else he would turn back into Bruce Banner and lose his strength. So I thought that was really interesting. I hope they play with that in the future. But
Here's
I
what
don't like
AKA
Caveman.
Thanos using the reality gem and causing that to happen.
Yeah, who knows? But I don't like Caveman Hulk.
No, I do kind of like just one word Hulk, like Hulk smash. That's it. Not
Yeah,
if the whole Quinjet was like Quinjet, and he's like Quinjet like that, I'll be like, okay, that's cool,
yeah, but I don't like me Hulk.
Yeah,
Me like fire.
the whole winning. What have you been up to? Winning. Like that was good. I like
Yeah,
that.
that was funny.
But I was gonna say with Hulk, what I would like to see in the future is we kind of see the merger. Okay, first of all, I forgot to mention how great that scene was where Hulk turns back into Bruce Banner on the Quinjet, and how his body's just like morphing back into Bruce, and then all of a sudden back to Hulk, and he's like punching himself and thrashing around. I was like, man, this is really great. I know it's all CGI, but it's like really great.
Well, yeah, the best CGI of Hulk we've had.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I was gonna say what I would want is for them to like start to team up and merge, so that Bruce gets his Hulk strength and Hulk gets his smartness, so that it turns kind of like into a Joe Fixit, where he's not as strong, but he's like can speak normal and has like a conversation with people, and has a mind of
Yeah.
its own.
And everybody since Edward Norton, at least I think everybody at least in our circle, I know, has been clamoring for Gray Hulk, and we haven't gotten that. So, like I said, there's like so many possibilities of untapped things that they haven't done yet that they could definitely end up doing in the near
Now that
future.
definitely sounds like an Infinity Gauntlet thing for Thanos to do.
Or even a
Just, I
multiverse.
take away your green. Now what?
Now you're without colors, huh? Try to get dressed in the morning, huh? Try that out. You're gonna be wearing polka dots and stripes. You'll look like a moron.
Are you putting on blue jeans or khakis? You'll never know.
Actually, you can probably feel the material.
Shut your mouth. Reality Stone changes all textures.
I was gonna say that could happen with actually Doctor Strange in the multiverse. Give us like all the different Hulks.
Rainbow Hulks. Smash.
Devil Hulk.
Oh man.
Red Hulk with oh man, Thunderbolt Ross. I almost forgot his name. Jesus.
I could do without him.
Well, just like him walking out of the portal and be like, I thought we were bringing Hulks, and they're like, I am a Hulk, you're green skinny, and then he like takes off his glasses and then like transforms into like Red Hulk. That'd be awesome.
Speaking of things we could do without, should we head on to the negative zone?
Absolutely. Do I do a song? Do they do the music on Negative Zone?
Wait, was it Negative Zone or Final Thoughts?
Oh, final thoughts. Right. I always keep forgetting that. I always think it goes afterwards.
We did it like
It's cool,
one
it's
time
cool,
at the
it's cool.
beginning. All right.
Who's going first?
I can go first. Like I said, there's a lot of positives to this movie. Soundtrack, like we mentioned, great. Taika really did his part, and I think he has a home run on his hands with this one. I felt like the only reason why I didn't like it, the kind of the main reason, was because I think out of all the MC movies, at least this one was supposed to be serious, even though Taika wants to show what he's made of. I feel like each one of these movies has a serious movie, and again, I think Thor: The Dark World is a serious movie, but it just falls flat, in that sense. So I thought they were going to try to make up for it, and they kind of do, or they try to, while still trying to do what, Taika wants to do and all that kind of stuff. I really want to like it, but I mean, there are cool moments, the set pieces, the plot points, and some of them are ruined by the comedy, the funny quips that completely cuts the tension. The big one for me was when Asgard blows up and Korg instead takes this moment to fill in the dead air with about foundation jokes, and that kind of stuff. Like, I knew it was coming based off the track record of comedy in this film. I was like, okay, there's going to be a joke and it's going to be all like, oh, wow, it doesn't seem that bad. I thought it was going to be way worse or something. And then it explodes, or something. And it turned out to just be that.
If I can interrupt for a second, does that mean that guy is dead? Solter, the devil guy? Surtur, because he said, I cannot die until I fulfill my destiny. And then he fulfilled his destiny. So I assume he's dead, right?
I'm thinking he can be killed now. I don't think he's technically dead, but, who knows?
But he also exploded.
True.
I think he's definitely dead.
Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to,
again, Surtur,
unless his helmet is floating out there in space.
A straight plot point, like no character necessary, I guess.
Yeah. Which, I mean, in the comics is kind of that way, but continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I agree. I think he did the part he was supposed to play. It's a fun movie to watch, just like overall. They were successful in wanting to be different or, fresh as far as superhero movies go and all that. Yeah, I mean, with it being so close to Infinity War, which is going to be such, the ultimate standard for superhero movies, it wants to be in its own niche, its own direction. Doesn't want you to compare Ragnarok to Infinity War, even though that's what we're doing.
Right now. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. It's not my favorite Thor movie, but it is a step up from Thor: The Dark World. So I think I'm gonna have to give this movie a I'm thinking a 4 out of 6.
Oof.
All right. You looking at my notes. All right. Okay. You like stealing my notes. Duly noted.
That might jump up to a 5 out of 6, but I'm thinking a 4 out of 6.
Never mind. Now we're
fair.
not friends. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, go ahead.
Were you done?
Yeah, I think so. I think 4 out of 6 is fair. It's not my favorite. Um, it's still good. But I think what knocks it down from being perfect is that um, of the comedy, it sacrifices a lot of serious notes for comedy, and so that the weight isn't there. Um, and I think the other thing that knocks it down from like let's say a 5 out of 6 to a 4 out of 6 is just that um, a lot of the what's it? Forgetting the word.
What are you trying to say?
Like
The action, the drama, the
yeah, like I guess the drama, like just what we've been talking about, how it feels kind of like a little bit out of place. Like this shouldn't be the last movie, or something like that, like
the
which obviously it isn't. Like maybe this is again just the ever curse of, oh, this just needs to lead on until to the next movie.
right. I think I heard Chris Hemsworth say in an interview that it was the most fun he ever had doing a Thor movie. So I
Oh yeah,
think
I could totally imagine that.
right. So even though like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. are probably tired of doing Captain America and Iron Man, I don't think Chris Hemsworth is done being Thor based on this latest movie.
Right.
Yeah, out of the three, I don't think so either. Just because, like, no offense to Chris Hemsworth, but like the other two compared to him, uh, I feel they have more range in their acting ability. I'll just say
Mhm.
that. Chris Hemsworth is kind of just action star guy.
You just want to lead that off to your final thoughts, Doc?
Well, yeah, I kind of already gave it away. Because Tim, like I said, copied my notes, but that's cool. But yeah, like mine, I would give it a 4. I was actually going to give it a 3. I was thinking of giving it a 3 out of 6 because we have brought out a lot of negative points about it. But I think,
Three's a little harsh because that's what I was
yeah,
thinking. I still had fun watching this movie. I wa
exactly.
I
This
smiled at
has,
least once and I laughed at least once from all the everything.
yeah, and I gave Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 3 gems, but this has a little bit more umph to it. So I'm gonna give it 4, the same that I gave the first Guardians movie. I think that's fair. But yeah, like a lot of things are just plot devices. A lot of things are full of plot holes. So it's kind of weird. Some of it doesn't really make sense. It's kind of like a freaky circle, man. The only thing that makes sense is that it does make sense. But um, but I think there's enough heart to it. There is, again, we have the three core main characters that we all know and love, or one of those characters.
Korg, Meek, and Cate Blanchett.
Well, no, I was going to say Cate Blanchett, Loki, and Thor, but Cate Blanchett
Yeah.
was actually kind of new, so we didn't really know her till now. But yeah, even Hulk kind of got to shine, although again they kind of took the character in a direction that I didn't really want them to go. But again, it's not really about what I wanted; it's about what they gave us, and
I was
I
gonna
have
say
to.
a lot of people I that saw this movie like became Hulk fans. Like, oh, Hulk's now like my favorite Avenger or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
And
also
like,
Um,
they
yeah,
also gave
anyway.
us some Hulk junk to look at.
Oh,
They're like, let me swag this right in front of your face. Yeah.
Remember
Age old
Shrek's
question.
butt? We're gonna top that.
Age old question right here, right in front of your face, dangling.
Okay. But yeah, like what I was saying is that I have to judge what I'm given. I can't really judge something based off of what I wanted it to be. So it's really hard. That's why I am giving it a 4 and not a 3. Um, but yeah, still a little disappointed with Hulk's character. Hopefully he's a little bit different. Hopefully we get Grey Hulk. I don't know. I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, Thor Ragnarok. I'm really looking forward to what comes from it, namely Valkyrie and where she goes from here, evolving into the MCU, or in the MCU.
Is Valkyrie going to be Thor's girlfriend?
You know what?
Yeah.
They had to, because right, that it seemed a little too fast.
Sorry, Jane dumped you. Whoa, we're just gonna wrap it up like that?
Yeah.
And Sif just disappeared. I don't know where Sif is.
Apparently,
Thor just does not care for her.
Well, I was gonna say
she's just crying in the corner,
where she was in Asgard when Hela was destroying it, and I think last we left off, she stayed on Earth because of Agents of Shield. She was just like, I like Earth. I'm going to stay on it for a bit. And she kind of probably totally missed her entire planet being blown up.
She's crying right now on another realm because Thor just always ignores her. And now she's going to come back because she's going to give Thor one more chance. But no, he's with Valkyrie already. And then she's going to cry some more. It's really sad. We need a movie about Sif and just like the life and struggles of Sif.
Just a one shot of Sith just crying throughout the 9 realms. And then, like,
actually, now that I think about it, it would be really cool to have a movie that focuses not only on Sif but on Valkyrie as well, and then have Thor be the side character.
I guess, yeah. What would they be doing?
Actually, going to realms we haven't seen. I think there's like 3 realms we haven't been to.
So it's probably like trying to find a new home, maybe a new Asgard.
Yeah, either that,
they're going to Earth. I mean,
or they could pull a Suicide Squad, and now that the highest ranking gods are dead, like it's playtime for the other realms.
Anyway, Tim, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah. You know what? I didn't mind the comedy. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's Ragnarok, end of the world serpent. Where's that at? Excuse me, Marvel, you're doing it wrong." And I don't care. You know, when I watch this movie, I smile, I laugh, and that's all that matters. You know, it's a funny movie. The only problem is its villain is that it wasn't really based on anything. When she was like, "So, Scourge, my executioner, tell me about yourself." And then I was like, wait, why? He's like, boring. I want to learn about you. I want to get your side of the Valkyrie attack. And then when you kill them all, like, you just kind of like sat there and meditated and like, you know, you sat on your revenge. You know, I want a story from you, Hela. I don't care about anybody else. And we didn't get that. And I wish we did. You know, the character wasn't really...
Yeah, they kind of just lingered on that mural. And like, there was some story in there. Like, absolutely. Was Mjolnir hers initially? How did she get Fenris, you know?
Right. Like, right, exactly. Talk about the wolf, talk about the hammer, talk about your old days with your dad, have a cool another Led Zeppelin flashback. You know, I wanted all of that to add to the character's death. Not death, but yeah, death. But wait, she didn't die. I'm not going to say that she did die. She didn't die. But her story, because I'm noticing all the scores that I put on, and all the 5s that I put on had great villains. They were like, man, that villain really made the movie. And that's what makes movies, is the villain. Sometimes part of the movie's all about the villain. And Jeff Goldblum could be said as a minor villain, and I love him, and he's awesome. All the Sakaar characters are great. I love each and every single one of them. The way they bring...
If Thor could beat Surtur really easily, and then Hela who beat Thor really easily, like, I know they said like, oh, she gains her power from Asgard, but then Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. So when they flew away in the spaceship, did they weaken Hela?
See, no. Is
it like a proximity thing? Where it's like, as long as she's close to people from Asgard, she's strong, or what?
I think it was teaching Thor, don't save the place, save the people. And Hela actually gains her power from the place, because as soon as she stepped foot onto Asgard, her clothes got better and she got, you know, energized up.
Well, yeah, but all the people are there.
But she was killing all the people. You know, she didn't really care. She goes, I'll kill every single one of you to get the sword back. So I think it was the place. Otherwise, she didn't understand it herself, but then that's stupid. Yeah, I think it's just Asgard the place. So, like I said, the villain wasn't top notch, and most villains should be top notch. Could have totally made her top notch, but it wasn't top notch. So I think this is the first time ever happening that we all gave it 4s. But I mean, I tried to give it a 5. You know, it's hilarious. Hulk was great when he jumped just in the background at the end, and he jumps on the fiery monster and like starts punching it, and you're like, no, God, Hulk, stop it. And he's like, what? What? There's like a guy who's destroying your home. And they're like, you were underwater. You didn't know. You were drowning a dog. We're leaving. And he's like, all right, cool. And then I was like, wait a minute, how do they escape? And then he like jumps right off the bridge into the spaceship. I'm like, okay, that's a little too amazing to happen, but it did. Yeah, I really like this movie. I really do, except it was kind of poorly done on some parts, and it really hurt the movie.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say that you just reminded me of, because Tim brought up how, you know, not every movie needs to be serious, but this one in particular probably could have benefited from it. And now I forgot where I was going with that.
Tim's right.
But yeah, Tim is right.
About everything.
Wow, yeah, I completely blanked.
You'll probably
yeah, I was gonna say, where I always go to jog my memory, the negative zone.
Well, I do want to go into the negative zones, but I also just want to linger on this page a little bit because this is all 18 movies ranked. Our ranking for the 18 movies. I mean, that's it.
Oh my
Next
gosh.
one's Infinity War.
Yep.
Yeah, this is something special. This is where you take a screenshot and you show your grandchildren later on.
This is history for us. Maybe not for anybody else, because I'm not too sure how many people are watching. I think it's 3 people. And thank you, 3 people.
We're live. 0 people are watching, so that's great. That's great. No. We do appreciate all you guys sticking through. Just take a look at it. It's amazing. 18 movies, 35 plus hours. So many characters have died. So many are yet to be born. Something to just meditate on. Okay, let's go into the negative zone. And take it. Whoa, that's not it.
Just a pile of rocks. Nothing to be scared of. Unless you're scissors.
Did you guys really like that joke about how he didn't hand enough flyers out, so that's the paper beats rock part?
I didn't like people
Korg steps on Meek, who has knives for hands, so he's like the scissors, so rock beats scissors.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
I thought that was good. Paper beat rock, rock beat scissors, and that was
Yeah, I don't like people explaining the joke to me. If you
the joke is that it's rock, paper, scissors. So that's like a game that people play.
No, you're doing it. You're making me mad. But if you got the joke, keep it to yourself. Let others be ignorant. Be like, didn't you see like in the background like him doing karate moves? Like, no, I'll just rewatch the movie again. Let me rewatch it. Let me find out on my own. Don't tell me all.
I thought it was very funny and self-aware that Taika Waititi, who was playing Korg, made a joke about that pitchfork thing, about how it only worked against 3 vampires that were huddled together.
Oh, yeah.
And Taika Waititi did a movie about vampires, and that was the main character, is 3 vampires.
3 vampires.
And so, yeah.
Peter.
All right. I'm going to get into some negative zones. Okay. V Child High. Oof. V Child Higher, maybe.
Is this a real person's name, or is this like a username?
It's a username. They're all usernames. Well,
oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
Let's
like
call him the Sizzle.
The Sizzle, November 4th, 2017, gave it a whopping 1 out of 10. And I think I only grabbed one that talked about how unfunny this was and it shouldn't be a comedy. But they all said that. Every single one said, like, what? Am I watching a comedy? What's going on? I don't like it. Every single negative review, 5 stars and below, all said it shouldn't be a comedy. So I get it.
I think it's a little bit of false advertising. Like,
Okay.
they didn't really say that this was going to happen, and that all this was going to happen in the trailers or anything like that. They told us Hulk was going to be in there. They did that whole "he's a friend from work" joke, and everyone was like pretty happy about that one.
Yeah.
And then they did the whole, what was the other one? Revengers. We're called the Revengers.
Oh, that was a terrible joke.
Everyone really liked that joke for a while. But yeah.
I was gonna say it makes me afraid of Infinity War because I don't want it to be a comedy. But if the trailers are as serious as Thor was, it's gonna be a comedy. But based on if serious
we basically have no idea.
Yeah. Well, if serious trailers equal comedy, this is gonna be a major comedy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's like, because in the trailer they showed that scene where he jumps on the Bifrost Bridge when he's all Super Saiyan 2, and he has both his eyes glowing, when in reality when he does that scene he already has his missing eye. So, like, who knows, dude?
All right.
I don't. Is Thanos going to be in it? I don't know.
Okay.
If you're trying to say that Vision dies, Tim, I'm gonna have to kill you right now. I'm gonna have to.
All right. So back to V Chisel. V Chisel gave it a 1 out of 10 and said it was a murder of character. It says, if a movie can't be serious about an apocalypse and just goofs around in nearly every scene, then it's certainly the murder of Thor, as we have seen in comics. One cannot emotionally connect to absolutely anything. Death of Odin, or Thor losing an eye, or destruction of Mjolnir, or extinction of Asgard as we know it. Movie is perfect example of killing the plot with overuse of humor. Jokes on us. I can't even begin to describe what kind of trash Thor Ragnarok is. It was a disgrace for everything we love from Marvel Comics, and the death of our hopes that someday we will see the God of Thunder in the movie he deserves. You will probably like this movie if you're only interested in some stupid jokes and ridiculous situations. Don't see this movie if you actually expect to see epic battles with Valkyries, and then has a name. I think it's a Norse name. Fenrir eating all the remains. Loki bringing death to Asgard. The Midgard serpent immortal battle with Thor, because none of that happened. Fenrir?
I'm glad we got the helmet back.
Maybe.
Fenrir.
Oh, well, yeah. I think Fenrir is the original mythology, and Fenris, I think, was a comic made name.
Okay.
I like we got the helmet back, kind of, for Thor.
Yeah. That helmet is pretty awesome. Yeah, like this, I think we talked about it already in our comments about the movie, but it's not the comic books. It's not. Get over it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is the source material, so you don't want to throw it out the window. But at the same time, you do want to take liberties and, have your creativity shine through.
Listen,
but I mean, there's a balance, and, on some people, you're going to step on their toes.
If I had to choose between a world serpent or Jeff Goldblum orgy, I'm going to go with the orgy.
That sounds like a personal thing, and I'm not entirely with you, but
that's the real world serpent.
Okay. Oh, jeez. This got worse than negative. This got awkward.
It's got dark and awkward and not even funny anymore. This is supposed to be like a comic podcast, I think. Okay. I got another one. It's a hard name too. True Papar? Maybe? True Papar, March 18th, 2018, says that it gave it a 1 out of 10. It says more like Disney's Thor Ragnarok. There's no pun. Just more like Disney's Thor Ragnarok. Okay. Disney is an evil cancer, a soul-sucking poison. It's crazy. Disney, Bob Iger, and their pile of money purchases beloved IP. Disney, Bob Iger, and the pile of money changes everything about said IP except imagery, leaving said IP a soulless husk of what it originally was. Disney pumps out billion t-shirts with the face of your ex on it, you know, the one you used to worship, but now you hate with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. You see the stupid shirts reminding you every day what Disney stole from you, and you wonder why stockholders are okay watching the best stock being driven into the ground. Pain. 4 out of 4 found this helpful.
I feel like, what was the big merchandise for Ragnarok? It was Gladiator Hulk, right? I think that was the most that I saw was the design of Gladiator Hulk.
That or Thor with a haircut, maybe. Did anybody get upset with Thor getting a haircut? Did he ever get a haircut in the comics? Or something different for him?
In Unworthy Thor, no, he had long hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just gets like a beard, and that's supposed to be like his disheveledness.
I just feel like, as far as like the haircut goes or whatever, like if the actor is going to complain that much, give him the haircut, but then also give him the helmet. Because
Yeah.
I wanted more helmet. That sounds weird to say.
Like,
But
I want like Korg to like pass him the helmet when he's on the throne with the ship and be like, here, I picked it up at Sakaar for you.
yeah, and then have him wear that when they start blasting Led Zeppelin.
I kind of wished we didn't get the gladiator armor throughout the movie. I was kind of waiting for a costume change.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gets a slight one from the beginning of the movie to this, but it's basically the same thing. It's a sleeveless little dark leather armor thin thing. And like only till like at the very end does he get this like kind of like all black version of his like chainmail armor. And I was like, dude, this is cool. Why didn't you get this like when you were going all, you know?
Because he was a prisoner.
Well, I mean, not later on. I mean,
yeah, I guess. He did have time to pick Valkyrie out a costume. He didn't have time to pick himself out one. Just
right?
like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I just love how Disney is an evil cancer, soul-sucking poison.
Well, also, I don't understand this new trend with like these terribly written tweets and comments and stuff that are like for example, they're like, this second-rate corporation known as Disney is just sucks, and then they'll put period, and then in all caps they'll put bad period, and I'm like, what?
I think you reading our president's tweets? Because
that's what I was. No, but even this person did the same thing, and I was fixing to bring up what Jimmy Kimmel said the other night. He was like, he said, it used to be that comic book movies were for children and running the country was for adults, and now it just seems like during this time it's completely the opposite.
I don't trust Kimmel. He has Disney. Disney has him in their pocket. So anything he says is basically Disney coming out.
I think he has everybody in his pocket. He gets like all of the exclusive stuff. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, he's not. He's the third like most popular talk show host.
It's insane.
Yeah. First of all, there's too many talk show hosts out there. There's not enough late night for all those talk show hosts to get up on.
Yeah.
Would you guys watch a talk show hosted by Korg?
Yemen?
Oh man, that would be great. And then have Meek in the background just like practicing karate throughout the whole thing. He can't stop. He can't stop training. He has to practice the whole time.
What are those guys called? He's like the Andy Richter of the show.
Yeah.
He's just behind a desk,
He's
like
still dead. He's like, or whatever, in a comatose state. He's just being muppeted by, I don't know, by Jeff Goldblum. Puppeteer.
Now we go to Meek. Meek, you have anything to say? And then he's like just flapping around. Thanks, Meek. So hilarious. Love it when you do that. Now our next guest, pretty much. Yeah.
Your Korg was turning a little bit into Paddington.
Yeah, I was like... And now for our next guest, we're going to have Thanos, and we're also going to melt him with the melt stick. So there we go.
Stay tuned for that.
Well, first, a word from our sponsors. All right. Yeah.
Don't say Chipotle, Tim.
Nope.
No, I'm good. I'm good. They actually they called me and was like, "You're not allowed to do Chipotle jokes ever again."
They took down our last podcast. It was sad. It was a sad day for the watchers.
You know what else is going to be a sad day? When Infinity War ends. No, I don't think so. Is it? Is it going to be sad? I think it'll be sad.
I mean, I'm going to watch it like as many times as...
The only reason it's going to be sad is because we're going to have to wait a year for the second part.
Right. But like only a month for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You guys really think there's going to be a second part? Actually, don't answer that.
Okay. I was going to say, wait till you hear what I got to say.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about it in our non-spoiler review, because I kind of want to get our like pre-thoughts, like what we not what we wanted it to be, but what we were kind of like expecting, you know?
Yeah.
And everything. So yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be lots of fun.
Get ready for that spoiler-free review to be definitely turned into spoilers real fast, because I have a hard time keeping spoilers out of my mind.
I was going to say, speaking of different reviews and all that kind of stuff, when are we going to be letting everyone know who won the giveaway?
That is coming up sometime this week, right? It's definitely this week.
Which is soon. And they'll be winning this, the Avengers Infinity War 2-pack, which is a Toys R Us exclusive. Not anymore, because that store is dead. So now you can just find it anywhere. Or you can just put in a hashtag at any of our YouTube videos, hashtag Watchers Week giveaway. Just do that and subscribe to our channel, and you'll be able to get this fantastic Marvel Legends Infinity War, where it's the only vision allowed by Marvel Hasbro Studios.
It's not the only one allowed.
Yeah, it's the only one allowed that's color versioned. Nobody else gets it.
Paul Bettany approved.
Paul Bettany approved. I saw a picture. I hung out with him. He said, it doesn't look like me, but it's the only one I got.
It actually very much does look like him. But no, what I was going to say too is, once again, thank you for everybody who has subscribed to this channel. I noticed that I think we had 6 subscribers, and ever since we put up the giveaway, it jumped up to 11, right? Has it jumped up any higher?
It's jumped up quite a bit, yeah. And we do like to take a moment and thank everybody who's been with us to our journey of infinity. We like to thank you all, and that's why we're doing this. We're doing this to do it for you and to say that we appreciate everything you do and everything that you've given us throughout these 18 episodes. 2 hours of 2 times 18. That's how many hours of my life wasted on this.
It's not, I wouldn't call it a waste, but I mean, it's definitely going to be there's going to be a pause, in between now and Ant-Man, and then the second part.
Well, and then Captain Marvel. You forgot Captain Marvel.
Is that this year?
Yeah, I think so. That or February.
I think they're shooting for like October, November.
Dang. What else is there? Is it no? Is it Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming out?
I don't know. It might be.
No, they're planning on it, but that's not till, I would say, like 2020.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
It might be Spider-Man 2 or something.
Definitely Black Panther 2 coming out. But I heard that they're not going to do it until the director's ready. So.
Oh, yeah.
That may be a while. Cool. Let's go through the to find more information about the Watchers Week giveaway. You can also go to the Watchers Week Instagram account. That's just Watchers Week Podcast, I think, and then you'll just find it. It's that little I symbol with the W inside of it. Tim, where can they find you on any social media that you have?
They can find me technically on Facebook, but don't, and they can also find me on Instagram. I'm not as active as I usually am. I'm currently not because of spoilers. But after I see it, which is upcoming after our review video, I'll be back up there and we talk about figs, comics, movies, all that jazz. So yeah.
Okay, how about saying your username so people can actually look you up?
I said Fishbone Malone. Did I? No.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, find me on Instagram, Fishbone Malone.
Right.
Random username, random guy.
All right. Dr. Cosmic, where can they find you on any social media?
Y'all can find me on Instagram as well at Dr. Cosmic with a KZ, not a CS. So take a second, just write that down real quick. Figure it out. There I post films, it's comic related films, comic books, figure posts. A lot of stuff is going to be coming your way once we have seen Infinity War, because like Tim, I'm avoiding spoilers. By the way, shout out to all the accounts on there that are disabling their comments. I thought that was really smart, and also a good way of respecting those of us who don't want to be spoiled, because
Thanos demands your silence.
Yeah, and I haven't, very fortunately, because I am terrible at scrolling through the most popular the popular page and seeing stuff I don't want to see. Fortunately, I haven't come across anything yet, but I do know of some people that have been spoiled. So again, guys, tread carefully. It's only a day away for some people. For others, it's 2 days away. So definitely you don't want to be spoiled. And again, props to those who are disabling the comment section for those trolls out there. You will be silenced by Thanos, so you better stop while you're ahead.
All right. Sounds great. I'm not like that. You can totally spoil the movie for me anytime. Anytime, any place. Just find me at _Nerdtron, NERDTRON. There we can talk about spoilers, because I do not care, because I'm an easily forgettable person. That's why I don't post regularly, because I forget I have an account. But yeah, go ahead, spoil the movie for me. Make up spoilers. I don't care. We can talk about it now. Just go right now on your Instagram account. Just write Quicksilver comes back, and then I'll just reply. Give you a nice little reply. Also, I think all of us posted on each of our separate accounts the giveaway. So if you want any of the rules, you forget that you're watching the Watchers Week, go into our Instagram accounts. You can find the giveaway rules there. All right, guys, we did it. This is the end to our journey to infinity.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I did not think we would make it this far. In fact, there was a lot of Not just scheduling problems that we came across, but personal stuff that all of our sides went through. And sometimes I was like, man, guys, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the show tonight. You're going to have to do it without me. So I'm thoroughly surprised that all three of us, we were able to do this together. We made it. We're right at the precipice of this culmination of 10 years. Oh my God, we're gonna get the gauntlet, guys. The gauntlet is getting thrown down.
I can't believe I watched all those movies again. Like that was a big chunk of my time that I had to keep setting aside for like, oh, I have to watch that movie. And so like, yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm not one of those people that are like eat dinner in front of the TV kind of people. I know a lot of, I guess,
Weirdos.
Mid Americans do that. Yeah. Middle Americans do that. But yeah, I got to experience that life for a while.
Yeah.
And
it is kind of strange to be like, not forced, because we weren't forcing ourselves to do this, obviously, but to like have a movie put upon you. Like, you have to watch this movie this week, this particular movie. Like, I know in your leisure time, you sit around and watch random crap on Netflix, but this week you got to do this movie.
Yeah. And quick shout out to YouTube. Thank you for getting us all the movies that we needed to watch. I only had to pay like $5 for each movie. It was way cheaper than trying to find it at Barnes and Nobles and Half Price Books or wherever DVDs are sold. I think only Civil War and Doctor Strange were on Netflix. So thank you, YouTube, for getting us all those movies. Well, this is it. This is next movie. So what it's all been waiting for, Avengers Infinity War. We're going to go in as boys and come out as men. We'll see you there next week. No, but seriously, don't spoil the movie for us. All right, we'll see you next week.